The world is on alert as it waits for Iran's response after weekend strikes that the U.S. claims crippled 3 nuclear facilities. Tehran is accusing the U.S. of waging war and President Donald Trump of taking a gamble by joining Israel's military campaign. The Islamic Republic says it is keeping a variety of options on the table for how it chooses to respond. The U.S. is now on high alert for possible attacks on its bases across the Middle East. President Trump also appears to be raising the stakes by floating the idea of toppling Iran's hardline clerical rulers. This is despite his administration repeatedly maintaining it aims only to destroy Iran's nuclear program, not to open a wider war or effect regime change. Washington is urging China to do its part to stop Iran shutting down the Hormuz Strait, a crucial trade route. Beijing has already called on the international community to do more to stop the war from impacting the global economy. Tehran, on the other hand, is eyeing help from Moscow. Its top diplomat has spoken to Russian President Vladimir Putin, who slammed the U.S. strikes as unjustified and unprovoked aggression. He offered assurances of assistance to the Iranian people without being specific. But Mr. Putin and other officials have noted that a sweeping strategic partnership agreement signed with Tehran just months ago is not a mutual defense pact. Leaders around the world are seeking to bring down tensions. Reactions here in Asia have been mixed, with countries treading cautiously along diplomatic lines. India, a U.S. ally that has economic ties with Iran, did not take sides. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reiterated his earlier call for immediate de-escalation of the conflict and a return to dialogue. Japan, which is heavily reliant on Middle East oil, avoided voicing support for U.S. strikes. Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba maintained a neutral tone, emphasizing the importance of lowering tensions in the region, and said Japan was monitoring the situation with grave concern. Indonesia has called on all parties to return to the negotiating table for a permanent resolution to the conflict. New Zealand acknowledged America's concerns about Iran's nuclear activities, but urged diplomacy over military action as a more enduring resolution. Neighbouring Australia declared open support for the U.S. strikes to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon, but added it doesn't want to see escalation. China and Pakistan have taken a firm stance against the U.S. The Chinese Foreign Ministry expressed strong condemnation, warning that the move could further stoke tensions in the Middle East. It called on all parties, especially Israel, to cease fire as soon as possible. Pakistan pointed out that the American attacks violate all norms of international law. It also affirmed Iran's right to defend itself under the UN Charter. North Korea has strongly condemned the U.S. strikes against Iran, saying this was a grave violation of a sovereign state's security interests and territorial rights. In a statement broadcast by the state news agency KCNA, the Foreign Ministry blamed the U.S. and Israel for raising tensions in the Middle East. 4 Singaporeans have been evacuated from Iran with the help of the Omani and Malaysian governments. Singapore's Foreign Affairs Ministry says the country would like to express its deepest appreciation and gratitude to both countries for facilitating the safe return of its citizens. Singapore does not have a diplomatic mission in Iran. Now, with the help of the Omani government, a family of 3 was evacuated, along with Omanis and other nationals, from the Iranian capital Tehran to Muscat in Oman. Another Singaporean was evacuated with Malaysians and other nationals with help from Malaysia. They were evacuated to Turkmenistan's capital, Ashgabat. The ministry says it also provided assistance to 7 other Singaporeans in Iran who left through Iran's border with Armenia and Iran's largest port, Bandar Abbas, headed to the United Arab Emirates. CNA spoke to Singaporean students in Jordan, some of whom say they are hearing air raid sirens in the country. But despite this, they are not in a hurry to return home, hoping to complete their education. They say daily life continues as usual, with shops staying open. But the Singapore community is following guidance issued by Singapore's Islamic Religious Council and the Foreign Affairs Ministry.
The guideline was for us to remain indoors whenever necessary, right? So we still do have to go out to go to school because when this situation happened, it was during our exam period. So we still needed to go to school every single day. So I would say that we are still able to do that safely. It's just that we just need to be a bit more vigilant and cautious whenever we are going out, yeah.
Singapore Airlines has cancelled all 6 flights to Dubai until 25th of June, citing its security assessment of the situation in the Middle East. Affected customers have been notified via email and text messages on updates and alternative flights. CNA spoke with one affected customer who had to scramble to find a new flight back to Singapore.
And they said, if you want to rebook, we will help to rebook, but we will have to look at what the flight options are. So, and they made it very clear that those that have some emergencies, like, somebody passing away, medical emergencies, then they will prioritize them. But because we had already independently researched, we didn't want to wait anymore. So we just told them, just give us the refund. And the refund was seamless. Like literally in 5 minutes, my refund notification came in and said, in few weeks' time, you'll have your money, your miles, whatever you used, all good.